Okay, I'm sorry about that. No audio part. But let's get on with the motors. Alright, so these are the Rivarossi motors. And these are actually quite good motors. And you can save them. You don't really have to replace them, even for DCC. But, I'll tell you right now, install this guy. I stalled him at 3 amps. Not good. But I'm going to show you why you can still use it. Alright, so I've got one hooked up right now to the tester. Let's take a look at him over here. Okay, I got him at 5 volts. See, he's at about 0.08 amps. 0.08 amps. That's pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to try to pinch him at 5 volts. Alright, you saw that? 0.94. Okay, that's at 5 volts. Install at a 0.94. That's in the safety range. And if you are, so if you're not doing DCC, it doesn't matter. But if you're doing DCC, that's nice to know. Now, if I turn them up, to 10, and I try to stall them with my fingers, yeah, that's what we like, is burning my fingers. I went over one, and I didn't stall them. Okay, so 10 volts. Now, he's fast, but I didn't stall them with my fingers. That's a good thing. But if you do, you saw, and I can get her up over one amp there, and that's not that great. Now, I've run them up to 20. 21. We don't want to be stalling them at 21. 14. Okay, at 14 volts, he's still drawing 0.1. Okay, now you listen to the sound, and it's that way because I ran some cleaner on it. Let's turn him down to... Okay, now he is a little bit of a high starting voltage. There's 2.9, and that stalls out at 0.5. But 2.9, that's not bad. In DCC, remember, you can set your starting voltage. But it's still pretty fast at 2.9. So you might want to set them, you might want to set your starting voltage right around maybe 2 or 3. But he's, on my finger there at 0.5 amps, it's got some good turning power. That's why I say these motors are decent. Okay, now, hey, thanks to my friend Tom, he's a ZEP guy, hooked me up with this ZEP Solvent Degreaser. And this specifically says for electric motors and electrical contact parts. This is good stuff. So wherever you can find your ZEP stuff, this is decent. I was using some other stuff before, and as much as I would like to use Deox at 5, Guitar Center is the place where you get it reliably, but they've been out each time I've been there for a while. They're kind of far away. But, so I can clean them. I can spray them while he's running. And spray them right in, wherever. Okay, that's going to clean them up. You can get cleaned up from that. And this stuff, it evaporates pretty fast. Put them at 7, 8 volts. Give them a second. And the cleaner will do its thing. And it will dry up right away. Now this thing was covered in oil, which we don't like. We want to get rid of the oil. There should not be oil on the motor. However, you know what we have to do now. This motor is, I'd say this is good to go. So you know what we got to do. Okay. All right, so the solvent has evaporated pretty much. Let's turn them down to about 3.75. All right then. It's time for our Marvel lubricating oil, which is fast-acting air tool oil. Some of my favorite stuff. I always get mine at Northern Tool, but you can find a lot of places. And These cans, as I've told you before, these cans, they're collectible cans now because they don't come this way. If you have one, keep it because you can refill it, which I do. And don't buy the little thing of the lubricate of the air tool oil, because a quart, like a quart, like you would put in your car for oil, a quart is like $10, but the little thing, the tiny little thing, is like $6 or $7. So get the quart and then get yourself an oiler. If it's not this can, get a little oiler, sewing machine oiler. You'll have some. Now, one thing I like about this is all the excess goes on the top. I'll pick it up with my screwdriver just like that. Put a dot. Okay. Now I want to get these bearings lubricated. So I'm going to go ahead. Take that dot. Yeah, right there. And the air tool oil, it protects it. Now every time I use one of my air tools, I got to put a few drops of that in there. That's good stuff. And that's just one end. This is one that's got the bronze bearing on both ends. No, stop shorting. There. Okay. Yeah, these alligator clips are not the most precision ones, and they tend to move around. So now I want to add some on the end. And that's only a dot and a dot. That's going to get worked in. You hear it working? Very good. Okay. Now check this out. 2.3. Yeah, we're getting down there good. Engine spinning. It's got some torque to it. This guy's got a little bit of torque at 2 volts. Like that. And that's one reason why I suggest keeping these. Just beware. Now, one of the things you can do in DCC in your speed table, you could set to make sure that you don't exceed a certain voltage. And I would, if you want to make sure there's no stall whatsoever, I would say set it at about 9. Set your maximum voltage somewhere around 9. If you're really worried about, if your thing is running good, don't worry about it. Now on my layout at 18 volts, if this was in DCC, I'd have to make sure it wasn't going to stall, because I don't want a 3 amp stall at 18 volts. All right, so this motor is ready to rock. So now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do the same one on this one. Well, this video is like 8 minutes. Let's go ahead and hook on. Well, okay, it's at 2.7 volts, and he doesn't turn. He's drawing power, but not turning. Okay, 4 volts. We got to turn. It needs to be cleaned pretty good. So let's go ahead and clean him up. Okay, let's flip them over. Get that done. People tend to oil these things, and oil spreads everywhere. And we don't want oil in our motor. There's 23 volts, 24 volts. There's 7. Okay, but let's go back to 7. At 7, we're pulling 0.1 amps. Now that's a respectable number. Okay, he wouldn't start until 4. Let's get him at 4 right now. Check him out. Are you stalling it? Oh, I'm not stalling. Okay, he stalls at 0.6. 0.6 amps at 4. No problem. We'll let him get cleaned up there. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put the Marvel oil in there for our bearings. And we'll be good to go. 18 volts. Get them cleaned up a little bit. There's wait 3.5. 1.92. 1.92, and okay, I can stall it with a finger, but stalls out at 0.2 amps. It's got a little bit of torque there at 1.93 volts. That's good to go. That's a good motor. So I'm going to call it, and I'll get the oil on them, and then we'll get ready to start reassembling.